to have holidays together. Pat and Joan Lawrence started with just £700. Since then, they've sent some 10,000 families on much-needed holidays. To tell us about them, please welcome Alice Anson. So how did you first meet Pat and Joan?
Well, we both did charity work, and through my work with Women's Aid, I asked them whether they could help one of our ex-residents, and they accepted it, and they had a most wonderful holiday. A woman who's never had a holiday in her life, neither had her 4 children, and it really put her back on the road.
But they've retired now, in their 70s. Any chance of them easing up?
Well, officially they've handed over the Fate and Hampstead Garden Suburb, which they run in May, to somebody else. But I don't think they'll be disappearing from it. I think they'll be there again.
The fundraising just goes on and on.
Oh, all the time.
And that's how we trapped them into coming here tonight.
Many of the families the FHA help choose to go to Butlins. So we thought it would be a good idea to ask Butlins to put on a party to celebrate the company's 60th anniversary so they could invite Joan and Patrick to it. I went along to surprise them, but as we didn't want them to smell a rat, I started pussyfooting around.
The most factual top cat, who's intellectual, close friends get to call him TC, providing it's with dignity. Top cat, the indisputable leader of the gang. He's the boss, he's a bit, he's a championship, he's the most tip-top top cat.
Oh, I wonder if I could ask you if you could take my hand. I'm dying of heat and I'm dying for a drink. Thank you so much. Oh, wow, that's a relief.
Esther!
Hello, lovely to see you. Congratulations, Pat and Joan. Because really, I want to tell you that this party is all about you.
Well, very nice of
And actually, there's an even bigger party for you waiting in a television studio.
Oh, that's a bit surprising. How did you organise that then?
Because you have been nominated for a Heart of Gold.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pat and Joan Lawrence! Did you know she was there?
No.
Come and sit down and tell her what you think of her. First, I want to know what you thought when I took that absurd cat hat off.
Shattered, I think you could
We?
say.
Oh, come on, be anything but delighted to see you, Esther.
We have met before because I met you at the very start of your charity, didn't I?
Yes, you opened our very first Fate, I think, 18 years ago.
A few months ago, you were interviewed, I believe, for a film about charity.
Yes.
We made that film, and in fact, if you look over here, you can see exactly what that film's about.
We always count them about money by families. £300 in another family away on holiday. That's like how we like to think about it.
For Pat and Joan Lawrence, raising money is a way of life. Their friends call them serial fundraisers. They'll do anything to help families who may have never experienced a holiday together before. In 20 years, the Family Holiday Association has sent more than 10,000 families on desperately needed breaks. Pat and Joan know it may represent their only chance of escape.
I think most families who are cooped up on the 15th floor of a high-rise block with nowhere for the children to play, nothing to look forward to, it's just essential that they get away and relieve themselves of a bit of stress so that the children can see the parents relax and the parents have got the opportunity of seeing the children play. I hope it helps, you know, for their future well-being.
The FHA gives grants to welfare agencies who nominate families from areas like this. Islington is one of the most deprived boroughs in London, with 1 in 5 people claiming housing benefits.
People in this area face a lot of problems, from bad housing, high unemployment, low income, and often social and domestic problems. And some people feel that, you know, if you're on benefits, why should you have a holiday? as though they don't deserve it. A lot of people are in those situations through no fault of their own.
Since her husband's death 3 years ago, Patricia Burgess and her family have survived on income support. Her eldest daughter Amanda has a 1-month-old baby. In March last year, the family enjoyed a week's break at Hastings through the Family Holiday Association.
It was wonderful, absolutely wonderful, because we hadn't been away for so long. It was just nice to get away and relax, and you know, the kids really enjoyed it because they've never been away. And Claire, when the waves came, because she's never really seen the sea, when the waves came, she got herself like near, and then when they came, she was running back, wasn't she? She was frightened of them, wasn't she?
That's me. I took a photograph of my mummy.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you up to dance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a holiday that both of us...
You'll never forget.
You'll never forget.
The sweet, sweet memories you gave me. You can't beat the memories you gave me.
A few years after they married, Pat and Joan enjoyed their first family holiday. The year was 1952. Fond memories of that time urged them to set up the Family Holiday Association.
We had no money, we had a sick daughter, and the doctor said, get her away to the seaside, that'll do a world of good, which would have been lovely if we had any money. But fortunately, we had a great friend who said to us down at the seaside, come and take over our flat for a fortnight.
It was marvellous to be able to take our daughter down to the sand and watch her have fun and dig castles and be with her and relax.
They made a vow that one day, in their own way, they would repay that kindness. 15 years later, the time had come.
I wrote to 19 of our friends and said, would you start us off with £50 each? I've still got 3 friends left, and the majority of them did. And the first year we had, or after that, we had £700 in the bank, and got in touch with our local solicitor, and we became registered as a charity. For the first 6 years of the FHA, we were in our spare bedroom, and this reminds me of it, very similar to this. And I remember on the finance side that at the end of July we'd be running out of money, and Joan and I would open our mail in bed in the morning, and I'd say, no more money, and she'd look at her letter and think, you can't possibly turn this family down, of course we'll get some money.
Pat and Joan wrote to hundreds of companies for donated items.
We've got all the stock down here, and each little section here is in its own particular stall. So this is home and wear, that's got all things you might obviously use in the home. And here you've got our general emporium. Pat says it's a very fancy name, but it's all gifts and that kind of thing.
Today, the FHA has grown into a national charity with 5 members of staff and an annual turnover of £500,000. Pat and Joan ensure that as much money as possible goes towards helping families.
I remember one time I was just about to put a second-class stamp on a letter to Derby when Pat came into the office and said, no, Fiona, don't waste money. We are driving to Derby this weekend. I'll take it for you.
My favourite tale is Joan, who was in a minor car crash. 2 other cars collided into her, and fortunately she wasn't hurt. She was shot, and the 2 other car drivers got out and said, well, I'm sure you want our name and address, and she said yes. Took out a book of raffle tickets, said, give me 50p each and put your name on there.
They really have no shame or embarrassment whatsoever in recruiting people to help with FHA and for families, which I think puts most of us to shame, but it stems from their utter commitment to the cause.
In their first year back in 1975, the Family Holiday Association sent 17 families on holiday. Last year it was over 1,000. Carol Smith and Fiona Johnson are both separated from their husbands. They're enjoying a week's break at Butlins in Minehead, the first ever holiday with their children.
The last time I was on holiday was when I was in a kids' home myself, when I was 15. And that's the last holiday I ever had.
I think the children are having a well of a time. They've never been so happy in their lives. They're running around enjoying themselves instead of being bored at home.
I wouldn't have been able to come here if it wasn't for the FHA.
You can imagine watching your kids for the first time on the beach or paddling. Must be a wonderful experience for anybody.
Have you ever noticed, actually, that if you're looking at a beach full of families, you hardly hear any child cry?
Once people have met them, it's very rare for the people not somehow to come away finding themselves involved in FHA one way or another if they're not extremely careful.
They're quite an extraordinary couple, really. Obviously the FHA is their baby, their child, and completely their creation. It wouldn't exist if it hadn't been their generosity of spirit and their concern for others that started it.
I have to ask you, Pat and Joan, what do you get out of this? It's so much work.
Enormous pleasure.
Why?
Well, helping people actually on any level in life gives you an enormous kick. It doesn't matter if there's somebody who wants to know where the nearest greengrocer is. It's a great pleasure to be able to help people. It's really fun.
And
people who don't do it should try it sometime.
The joy of hearing from families who write and say what a wonderful time they have, it's so tremendously rewarding.
What does that mean to you?
I think it means everything to us. I think it means that we look back and with great satisfaction we've been able to help so many people. And one particular young girl of 13 wrote and said, one of the happiest days of my holiday was seeing Mum and Dad holding hand, walking along the beach. Now, if that doesn't give you joy, nothing will.
Money is difficult, is it, raising money? You've got some strange scheme at some airport, haven't you?
We've got a wonderful money spinner at Bristol Airport, the first of several airports, we hope, where people departing from Britain will be able to leave all their change, small and large, we hope, in the money spinner in the departure lounge at Bristol Airport. So we hope everybody will travel out of this country from Bristol.
No, you don't. No, she doesn't, does she, Eric?
I don't think she does, Esther.
No.
Oh, we've got another airport here, have we?
We have indeed.
I don't think you've met, have you?
No.
But Eric knows about your work, Eric Lomas, and he is the managing director of Gatwick Airport.
Gatwick!
And Eric, tell them what you want to do.
Well, when we were approached, Joan and Pat, we were totally taken with the commitment you've got and the 20 years history of raising money for people to actually join everybody else in taking a holiday, and we thought that was marvellous. And when we were approached, we did hear that you were quite a persuasive lady.
Possibly.
So we thought we'd beat you to the punch this time, right? Because we know that one of your wishes is that you were able to use one of the departure lounges at a major international airport in London. And we're delighted and honoured to do this for you. So we're looking forward very much to having one of your money spinners in our new departure lounge.
Good idea.
Wonderful
idea.
Could I tell you just about a little boy who explained what it felt like to be on his first holiday? He said, I feel funny. And the questioner said, how do you mean funny? And he said, I feel all laughing and happy inside. So if the world want to make children laughing and happy inside, all of them should go to Gatwick and put their money.
You can tell the way she sells her raffle tickets before you sell any more. I think Alice has a present for you, actually.
Really? Not a raffle ticket, poor guy.
I'm really thrilled that after all the hard work you've done for the family holiday station, I'm be privileged to present you with your golden heart, Pat.
That's
Long may they continue. 10 years ago, a Nottingham social worker called Margaret Humphreys received a letter from a woman asking her to trace her parents. She claimed that at the age of 4, she had been put on a boat to Australia by the British government. Margaret thought there must be some mistake, but she decided to investigate. To her horror, she discovered that this woman's story was just the tip of the iceberg. She found out that for nearly 70 years, thousands of children had been packed off from children's homes and shipped abroad. Many of the children had terrible experiences in tough institutions. Pamela Smedley was one of those children. She was sent to Australia in 1949 when she was 12. But she was reunited with her family 50 years later, thanks to Margaret Humphrey's efforts. And that's why she's travelled 12,000 miles from Adelaide to nominate Margaret for a Heart of Gold. So please welcome Pamela Smedley. That's an incredible story. Did you have any idea that you were one of so many children?
No, no idea at all.
What kind of a woman is Margaret Humphreys?
Margaret's an incredible, caring, wonderful person, very thoughtful.
So if you had to decide how she would evaluate this, is she the kind of woman that would suss out a trap like this?
I don't think so. You'd have to be very good.
Your work's cut out for you. Good luck there, Esther.
It is not going to be easy. Pamela's going to hide now because Margaret thinks she's in Australia and we want to keep her as a surprise. Meanwhile, over here, we have some more surprises, some of her closest friends and family, and the people who actually run her charity. This is the book that Margaret has written in aid of her charity, and her publishers have asked her to come to London tonight for a meeting. Terry Waite actually reviewed the book for the newspapers, so to hear what he thinks of her work, please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Terry Waite. Well, Terry, what did you feel when you read this book?
Well, I felt, first of all, Esther, it was a story of people initially behaving with the best of intentions and then the whole thing going dreadfully wrong.
You mean the people who sent the children out?
Absolutely.
I do think it's quite extraordinary. Thousands of them going from one institution to another institution in Australia and never knowing who they really were.
Absolutely, and that's the real tragedy of this story, the story of separation, of isolation, and almost of a lifetime of suffering for so many of them.
And there in the middle of it, this extraordinary woman battling on her own at first.
And that's the other main part of this story, of one individual, Margaret, who had to fight such enormous bureaucracy, and indeed is still fighting that battle today.
Now, have you met her?
Never.
Right, so this is going to be an experience for both of us.
Indeed.
We better tell you what we've done. She's on her way here. We have created, behind that wall, a fake publishing meeting room, sort of hotelish place. And if you wouldn't mind welcoming here, there should be some publishers who come in with her. And then somehow or other we'll break the news to her that it's Hearts of Gold.
Right.
I guarantee nothing. I don't know whether she's going to be pleased or angry.
Well, we shall see.
And you will calm her down.
We shall see.
Thank goodness he's big. Right, I'm reliably informed that Margaret is just entering the building, so maybe we ought to dim the lights here, do you think? And if the audience would stay quite quiet for a moment or two so she doesn't guess.
Hello, Mark. Oh, nice to see you. Yeah. Good. Is this Margaret? Yeah. Hello, how nice to see you. I wanted to meet you for a long time. Do sit down. Yeah. Oh, well, do you want a glass of wine? A drink of water? I've been waiting here ages. I didn't know what had happened.
Yes, I was... This is a strange place for WH
Well, they have part of their offices for their publicity purposes. I'm here for my board. Well, I've wanted to meet you for a long time because, I mean, I think just the story is an incredible story itself. Take a lot out of you to do it. An awful lot out of you to do it.
Oh dear, I mean, we have been waiting ages. What's the problem?
Well, it's traffic and trouble like that. I wonder if I could explain to Terry Waite, maybe.
I don't know, really. I've been waiting here ages.
Excuse me, could you just have a quick word with this?
Hello, yeah. Hello?
I'm terribly sorry, I can't make it. I'm overcome with embarrassment.
No, well, that's not really... Is there going to be a long delay?
I wouldn't have thought a long one. Perhaps I'd better apologise to
Margaret.
Margaret.
Well, perhaps you better have a word with Margaret. Yes, OK. Margaret, can you just have a...
Who is it?
It's just W.H. Smith.
Oh, hello. Hello, I'm the marketing director from W.H. Smith, Margaret. I'm so sorry I should be at your meeting, but I'm afraid I've been delayed. I wondered whether you could perhaps join me. It isn't far, actually. You just have to stay where you are for a moment. And then you can join me, because my name's Esther Ranson, and you're about to be in a television studio for Hearts of Gold. Now, Terry Waite is known to be a decent, honourable